wraparound.
Dog. What do they call it? Dog? He's got his own Twitter account now. The Call of Duty dog.
Does he really?
The one that's on the little headset?
No, the one that was in the Xbox One.
Yeah, they had a headset on.
What's its name?
Or like gear or whatever.
See, I wish you could customize your own dogs because I get like a corgi with like C4 in his mouth.
Yes.
He'd be so happy running away from everyone else.
Oh,
just get a pug.
Legs, just...
Yeah, exactly. You're like, go get him, boy.
You gotta get a pug and just like make it a suicide dog.
I showed you that picture of the dog I want to get, right? It's
Yeah.
a corgi crossbred with a husky. It's a husky with tiny legs.
Poor dog.
It's
German Shepherd crossbred with a Basset Hound.
Oh.
Take this big German Shepherd and tiny little Basset Hound legs.
My friend had a Pekingese and a poodle. We called it a PIKAPOO. Do live.
Welcome to That's Alt, show where some cretins get together and talk about video games usually. Maybe some movies. But today we're talking about video games, specifically video game remakes and ports. We're going to talk about cheap cash grabs and remakes done right. Today with us we have JD, S3 Prototype.
Hey, that's me.
That is. Marcus, TheOnlyTigger.
What's up?
And Kristina, Misfit Girl.
Ohio.
A fully remastered campaign, co-op over Xbox Live, and 7 of the greatest multiplayer maps of all time.
So, let's go ahead and just dive right in. I'm going to say, a lot of times I feel that these companies come up with these remakes or ports that are just quick cash grabs. They put minimal work, maybe upscale slightly, and then, put it on the shelf, $30, whatever. So I'm going to ask you, JD, what is something you look for in a remake? Like, what traits do you desire in these things?
Well, it all balances if it's coming on CD or if it was a download. The download games, like on Xbox Live, like Symphony Night or Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, EX Plus, whatever edition, World Tournament, that got a graphical overhaul, which was amazing. I paid premium for it, that was a great remake. And they rebalanced the game, but poor ones like they did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was literally they slapped the code into Xbox and said, "Hey, run with it." It wasn't a great port whatsoever. So I really look for graphics and gameplay. Graphics will sell it to you, and gameplay will just put you back into the game that you used to play over again. Poor example of that is Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk HD came out a year and a half ago. It was a great game. I'm sure all of us spent countless summers inside playing PlayStation 1 and stuff like that. But when you came to the controls, it felt like you were sludging through mud, just trying to get him to do an ollie, and all the time I felt like I wanted to break the controller.
Rage.
Yeah, just every time.
Marcus.
For me, I like what Microsoft's been doing and what they've been planning to do with some of their franchises that they're bringing back. Keeping to the core of the what the game is, but recognizing some of the faults and fixing the controller that we had issues with, or what they did with Halo Anniversary Edition. They just completely overhauled the game, but even for the purists they gave you options. So on my 360, if I wanted to play it in original Xbox form, I could, but push of a button and the entire game's reskinned.
Yeah, I love that you can do that and just compare it. Stand there and look at how bad it used to look.
Right, because you used to think that it looked amazing, and then you're like, oh wow, I was missing out as a kid,
Yeah, the swamp level alone, when you're going into the flood base and you play it in original Xbox format, you couldn't see at all, and then you go ahead and hit the button and they upload the Reach engine, and it's see for miles, and so much detail just added into it. It added to the game.
You see, when I used to play that game, it was like I could throw so many grenades underneath this warthog, and the explosions. It was like, that's so detailed. It's in 1080p. But
not so much anymore.
Yeah.
You look at there's a square box, and that's what you stand.
Yeah, just.
What about you, Kristina? What do you look for?
I've had a lot of fun recently with different RPGs, a lot of handheld ports. Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, those were my two favorites because growing up, I played Pokemon, and Silver and Gold were actually my favorites. And so what they did was they just improved the graphics, added some extra stuff in there, but it still came down to it's Pokemon, so you're still gonna go around and do the 8 gym badges, Elite Four, all that, but just improved. I loved it.
The Pokemans. Yep. So let's do that. We're going to continue the discussion. We'll say, let's go down and talk about ports that were done like absolutely awful, like just didn't play right, or it's just massive oversight. And I'll go ahead and start this off. This is back in the day. They ported Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 into PlayStation 1. And it was so laggy. Like fighting a battle was just a pain. Like you'd press A, and then your cursor would go. Like it took like 2 seconds. Everything was like in a 2-second delay, and it was awful. It was just horrible.
Well, how was the iPhone ports to that?
The iPhone ports are fine. The Chrono Trigger one has some control issues, I would say. It feels a little fidgety, in my opinion. But Final Fantasy 4 DS, that's a beautiful port. I mean, it was the DS version. They ported it on the iPhone, and it's a wonderful remake. And they did it with polygons, voice acting. They added more to the battle system. I forgot what they call them. I think they call them like relics. But you can basically add more battle commands to all your characters.
Okay.
So they took the original game and sauced it up a little bit.
It was like a 1.5 version to it.
Yeah, exactly. Put a little more depth in there. Graphical overhaul. It was a wonderful remake. So that was a good example. But the bad one was the PlayStation ports, which were pretty awful.
Yeah.
They added cutscenes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was like the only thing that they really added was the animated cutscenes.
They added cutscenes, and there was like a few unreleased bonus music tracks or something. Maybe some like bestiary, like you can go look at the bestiary. But if it's in a 2-second delay, they can have it. So
if it's not reacting in time, just like
exactly.
I'm done.
I'm not playing this.
Do you have any remakes or ports that you bought that were just awful?
Yeah, like I said, the Turtles in Time I was kind of upset about. I bought the Simpsons re-release, which is, it's a Simpsons. It's, it's cartoon colors and stuff like that. But it was all right, but it didn't add any game value to it. We played it, all of us played it assembled like once, and then we never touched it again. It was the same thing with the X-Men game too.
They were just exact ports, right?
They were exact ports, maybe cleaned up with... they smoothed out the sprites, or they had a scale over it or something like that, but it didn't really do anything for me to be like, I need to keep playing this game. Those were bad ones. Persona 4 was a good re-release. Now, they did Persona 4 on PS2, and then they re-released it on the Vita, which added a lot more content to it. It made you want to go back and revisit the game. There was more stuff to it, and it was worth buying it twice. That's what I look forward to it too. Is if I enjoyed it so much the first time, I better have that same gameplay and memory than playing it the first time around and then playing it the second time.
That's true. They got to give some incentive for the original fans to have incentive to buy these re-releases. Because if it's an exact port, nothing added, no change, why rebuy it?
Yeah,
right, exactly.
That's a big thing that I have a hurdle to get over on the PlayStation Network. They'll re-release the ROMs on PlayStation 1 to play on your Vita. I'm like, all right, that's kind of cool. I could play that on the go. But there's nothing added to it. There's no real... Why am I going to pay something that's 20 years old, 15 years old for $10, $15?
It's like, well, I already have Final Fantasy VII laying in my cabinet. Why am I going to pay $10 again just to play it on my handheld?
Yeah.
If it had new stuff, okay, cool. And maybe I'll buy it just to, waste some time on it so I can play it over for the 50th time. But otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah, like Metal Gear. I'm obviously a Metal Gear fan. I never bought it digitally on the PlayStation Network because I thought it wasn't really warranted to be, on a portable. It didn't add anything more. I bought Twin Snakes because there was more to it. That was a great port. It was reimagined, kind of, sorta, but it was good.
I guess that's what differentiates a cash grab from a true good port or remake. is that they give incentive to bring in new people, people who they weren't around for the last generation of games or they were too young for it, and also bring back the people who play the originals and want another reason to play the game. And I look at it kind of like, look at how they do DVD re-releases. They'll put out the movie on DVD verbatim for the first year, but then 2-3 years later, they put out the director's cut. Additional scenes, footage, blah, blah, blah. They give you some kind of incentive if you have to rebuy it, But,
no, I totally get it. Like, Ghostbusters the first year, that was just horrible. They just threw it onto a Blu-ray player, and that was it.
Yeah. And I don't even think it was a true remaster. Like, I think they just kind of, upscaled.
Yeah.
It seemed really upscale because I remember watching it. I think I was walking through Fry's and they had it playing, and it was just grainy as hell.
I'm just going to go down and talk about some of the really good remakes that just blew me away. Like, for me, seeing Resident Evil brought to GameCube, they redid the entire game, and even to this day, it's like one of the most beautiful games out there. It's not HD, of course, but the detail and the backgrounds and just how they have it all set up, it just blew me away. Are there any remakes that you saw that just were amazing? You had to have them?
I didn't play Tactics 1, Final Fantasy Tactics. It wasn't put in front of me on PlayStation 1, but when it got re-released on Vita and they added new classes to it and they had added cutscenes to it and all, I was like, all right, cool, I'll check this out. And that's what sold me. It wasn't just, here you go, try the game again.
Yeah, and they threw in that OP both the air.
Yeah.
Guys like arranged Orlando.
It's like Juggernaut with the bow and arrow.
Pretty much. One hit kill anybody from across the map. How about you, Marcus? Anything that blew you away that you had to have?
Probably most recently, I'd say Okami. Done by Clover Studios. Unfortunately, they're no longer around, but
God bless their soul.
Yeah. But just the amount of detail that they put into that game when they, redid it and basically like fully HD cleaned up, all the edges on the watercolor looking paint style that they used for their art direction, and just it was just really beautiful to look at, and the gameplay was true. They added something new for the people that use Move to be able to actually like paint the little watermarks to make stuff pop up in the land and stuff. It was really cool. It was something that I was really looking forward to. And after I played it at Comic-Con last year, when it finally came out, definitely had to have it.
How about you, Kristina?
I'd really have to go with Shadow of the Colossus. It was that, and it was actually in a package with Ico, which I still haven't gotten to play Ico first time through or remake through. But for me, like growing up, I just remember playing Shadow of the Colossus and thinking like, this is such a hard game. Like, this is the first game I have to like look on the internet and figure out how to like beat these guys.
She's a phony.
Shut up. And so so challenging, and it's just one of those games you play it once and you're hooked. So when I heard that they were doing a HD release of it, I had to get it. And they actually changed the controls to be not quite as annoying, to where it worked better like if you were riding on your little horse and you had to like turn around and shoot an arrow. It's not quite so bad. So that was my favorite, but I have to agree with you on Resident Evil. That was actually my first time playing it. It was on the GameCube. And that's when I fell in love with the series. So they obviously pulled me in that way.
They redid the voice acting and everything.
Yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed it.
Look out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of it!
Now, there's some remakes coming out soon that they were announced or we've seen some footage for.
Right.
Do you guys have any remakes you're looking forward to in the near future, and what you saw in them that made you interested?
Remakes, it's not necessarily a remake. It's a re-release of Miramasa. I never got to play it on the Wii because I never owned the Wii. But the downfall of the Wii, though, it was only ran in 480. It didn't look as crisp, but the artwork looked phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Now they're releasing it on the Vita, and they have a whole bunch of bells and whistles to it that I'm dying to play again. they're also re-releasing the Metal Gear Saga coming out next month, which has all the games under the sun from the US version minus 2 games, but we don't care about those. Those were great, and especially the fact that the HD remixes, HD re-releases were already done. It runs in 480, runs on your portables and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to losing a whole another year of finding out what happens to Snake.
Yeah, I had to agree with Jay on that. I'm definitely looking forward to playing Muramasa with all the added content that they brought to it with the extra characters, being that I actually played it on the Wii and just being able to it's so amazing. There's colors. Yeah, you don't use the Wii at all. It's side
that makes it so much
better. But looking forward to that, and actually really looking forward to the Kingdom Hearts HD remake that they're bringing out.
Yeah, that looks good.
They've recently shown, side-by-side comparisons of like what it looks like in the old PS2 format versus what they're doing to upscale it and fix the controller, problem with it being so archaic and clunky. It now feels a lot more responsive. So definitely looking forward to that. Plus, they're adding in the games that weren't available on the format before. So definitely looking forward to that.
I already know what you're looking forward to.
Yeah, my favorite Final Fantasy, or one of my favorite Final Fantasies, 10 and 10-2 are both coming out.
10-2 is a real game?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Don't hate.
I thought that was just a dress-up game.
It's not just dress up, there's story. That's why I play it.
Spice Girls.
Is it about how they dress up?
I ain't gonna lie. I bought it because I played 10 and I wanted to play 10 too. I was like, all right, I want to see what happens. And then when I got into it, I'm like, what is this? It's pretty, but I can't stop playing it.
The battle system was fun.
Shush!
Boobies is all you care about.
But that being said, I'd enjoy to play it because I think they're releasing it on Vita, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's nice that I can take it on the go with me, and it's going to have improved graphics. That's cool.
I think you got crossplay hotness on there too.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's kind of like, okay, so they're releasing 10 and 10-2. Why haven't they released 7 yet when so many people have asked for it? Like, why would they waste their time on one of the lesser favorites? It almost makes me think that they're putting something in store to...
They got to have some secret team in a basement somewhere just working on that.
Yeah,
they're
because
trying to draw out that 13.
Yeah, with... Oh, well, God.
They got to have a backup plan. Square's had better days.
14?
Right. Well, with
they're
Crisis Core, it's like they've got the graphics capabilities, and they made Cloud look all pretty and stuff. Like, I don't see why they
tease us with the tech demo and then give us nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
They tease us with the movie and they give us nothing.
They tease us with everything pretty much. So I guess we're just kind of waiting and hoping. But
I'm waiting on that DuckTales. I don't know what you got. I heard that thing.
You can keep that to yourself.
Whoa, you DuckTales hater over here.
Yep.
Want to play this? I just want the remastered Moon song.
Yeah.
The Moon stage.
See, I never got to play it on the past consoles. I heard about the re-release of that, and then I believe I think it's Sega or what have you that they're doing Mickey Mouse House of Illusion.
Yeah.
They were redoing that, the Sega Genesis version, and I'm kind of stoked about that because I played that one before.
I want to see a lot of those like old 16-bit games redone, or 8-bit, even 8-bit. Just
they went all out with that. Added voice acting for the.
They got the original cast to do the voices.
If they're bringing back DuckTales, they need to bring back Chip and Dale too.
I want that.
You know what I'm saying?
Co-op Chip and Dale.
I want to throw a box at you and throw you off a cliff.
Throwing tomatoes at Fat Cat.
Yeah, there you go. And. And I'm just going to go down. I have a few more I wanted to mention here. I'm going to talk about some of the ones that I think were wrong. I heard Silent Hill HD Collection. I never played the actual HD Collection, but I hear it was riddled with like audio errors and like the cutscenes were missing like some video and audio in them.
The game was it was coded very wrong. There was parts where the game would lock up. It was become unplayable. The save code got corrupted and you had to start all over again.
Didn't Konami put out an official apology about that?
Yeah, they released the game like, oh, we're really sorry. Here's a free download of the older game that we just put out before that was twice as horrible.
Wow.
That was their apology. You know, it was like, oh, I'm sorry. Here, have more of our crap.
We're sorry.
So sorry.
We're sorry. Need a bearskin rug over here.
Holding a.
No, just do it.
Huh?
Go ahead.
No.
Yep.
We need,
Yep.
you need the bearskin rug.
Oh.
It doesn't work without that.
Oh,
Brings the
darn,
room
I really
together.
would see that.
It really brings the room together. The rug. But, you know, are there any others you guys wanted to mention while we're talking on the subject?
I mean, like on the note of that one, just with you know, him bringing up the Silent Hill, it brings me to like when they released the HD collections and they're incomplete because like that one didn't have, what was it? The first one wasn't in it.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just the second and third and was it fourth?
It's something like that. I mean,
But like Hitman actually did the same thing with their HD collection. Like it was just 2, 3, and Blood Money, which Blood Money was already released on the current, you know, console, and 1 was nowhere to be found on there. It's like they're releasing these HD collections and they're making them incomplete.
yeah, they're just trying to rescrape for that franchise altogether.
Yeah, and plus, like, it's easier to upscale the PS2 copies of, you know, MGS2, MGS3, and upscale them. But the PS1 version, you can't make that look good, and you know.
Well, just release it as a collection.
That's
you know?
true.
Right.
Just,
I mean,
just throw it in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, because they've done it before with other games. I mean, even if they give it to you like as a PC download, like in the case of Hitman, which was the system it was first on, it's like give me something to make that, you know, complete. If you're trying to bring in new people to the franchise or catch people up on the story leading up to the new game, it's like give them the complete story. Don't half-ass it.
You see, and I totally get that. My gripe with these re-releases that they have, Marcus was saying that they're incomplete. They would redo the whole entire game. They do just the gameplay portion of it. You know, the sprites, the polygons, the backgrounds. They clean up everything, make it for 16:4 format instead of 4:3. That's great. Now you have a widescreen and progressive, but they don't redo the cutscenes, and that's a big gripe that I have. Prince of Persia, God of War, Metal Gear, DMC was horrible because you jump from this beautiful landscape to this like. You look like you're playing the game in a haze with one eye and closed. You know, you might as well just put on 2 eye patches. You're gonna you'll get the same results. Yeah.
Playing by controller vibration.
That's promo. Go ahead.
You know, those shows with like market quality. Whenever they do, you know, they upscale a lot. But sometimes when they upscale, you see that the older textures look really crappy.
Yeah.
I with the Zelda on the DS port, they actually redid the textures, so it looks really nice. Like Link doesn't have like a pyramid nose anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like they cleaned it up.
Right.
That's a good like example. Backbone, I think Backbone Entertainment does the re-releases for Sega, and they don't do anything for their re-releases. They did Streets of Rage, and they just they cleaned up the sprite, and they look worse. It looks like from a 16-bit game to an 8-bit game, just with 16-bit backgrounds. Mm-hmm. It looks worse because it looks like a Flash game sometimes, and you can't credit any real game to a Flash game.
I can agree with that.
I was about to say, was there any
except for
other
that Wheels of, what do they call that thing? That Wheels of Fury, where you have the baby in the basket and you get decapitated. You have to play it to believe it.
Okay.
We'll put the video in there.
Like Desert Bus?
Yes. Or
Wheels.
Was it
Oregon
Second
Trail.
Tag?
Yeah, Second Tag.
If they need to re-release Oregon Trail,
HD Oregon Trail.
Made by Rocksteady.
Yeah.
Ooh.
if I could put my friends' gamer tags as part of my family and they all die of dysentery, dude, I'd screenshot and send it to them all the time.
Or like we can like co-op shit and I can be your wife.
Wait.
What's happening?
Whoa.
What just happened?
Go on.
No one was like, what just happened? Marcus could be the kid.
No.
I'll be the cow.
You could
Or
be
the ox.
the oxen that drowns in the river.
You lost good old Marcus in the river. He didn't make it.
Lost Kristina. God damn it!
Kristina got a snake bite.
Now we have to go all the way back.
Now, I hate wasting my time, but I'd better introduce this transfer student. This sad sack's been thrown from the big city out to the middle of nowhere like yesterday's garbage.
If you guys want to check out some more, some of the awful things we do on the internet, go to Ultness.com. Also, we have a Facebook and Twitter at Ultness. Until next time, have a good day and play some Oregon Trail. Name your ox, Marcus.
First I'm the kid, now I'm degraded.
You didn't want to be the kid. I gave you the choice.
That's the only other option. I mean, yeah. Unless you want to be the rations. The rations that help us survive.
I'll be dysentery.
Oh.
Well, died from Marcus. Kristina died from Marcus.
Marcus fell over on Kristina. I'm talking about an ox, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I can't gore. I have horns. But I play a sad.
Marcus ate a bad patch of grass.
We're gonna need more hemp for this road.
We're gonna need more hemp before we're through.